This is a Louie Tee Network exclusive.
Who else could it be? Me, your me. Louie Tee, welcome. You are in the lab room, of course. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me on the 2016 NFL Draft Prospects 101 series, your guide to some of the biggest and hottest names of the 2016 NFL Draft. We're talking about the quarterback position, and we've knocked down two of the biggest names at that position in this year's upcoming draft in Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. We think they're going to be, or at least I think they're going to be, the top two quarterback prospects off the board in this spring's draft. But if any quarterback could pierce the top two and knock one of those two candidates out, it'd be the next quarterback, Memphis Tigers quarterback, Paxton Lynch. Here's a guy that a lot of people are excited about, and there are a number of reasons why. We'll talk about his pros, his cons, and move on to the next quarterback. I think this is the guy that I feel like is going to be potentially the final quarterback taken in the first round. And of the three going in the first round potentially, I think he's the one that has a lot of scouts drooling because of his upside. We'll talk about his upside a little bit later on, but let's first start with this guy's size. It's something that stands out among the rest of these quarterbacks. This guy is huge. And this is a very big quarterback draft class. You don't have a lot of 6'2", 6'1" guys where you're kind of bordering on, is this guy big enough? Can he see over the line? Most of these quarterbacks in this draft class that we'll be talking about a lot throughout the process, they're 6'4" or better. So I think size is something that we're not going to have a real discussion about this year, but this guy's a special size. And when you start talking 6'6", 6'7", you're in that elite level in terms of size in this league at the quarterback position. There are not many guys that have played the quarterback position at that size, so that's something that Paxton Lynch is definitely going to have on his side as a 6'6", 230-pound quarterback. This guy is a big, athletic QB, and I think that's the first pro you start with when talking about Paxton Lynch, is his size, 6'6", 230. But not only is he that big, allows him to see over the line, but he's also athletic with that 6'6", 230, which a lot of people have comped him to Colin Kaepernick because of his size and athleticism and the mixture of the two. But I think he's a hybrid of Colin Kaepernick and Brock Osweiler, the Denver Broncos quarterback, because of the size and then Colin Kaepernick's athleticism. Now, I don't think Paxton Lynch is as athletic as Colin Kaepernick. I think Kaepernick is much quicker than Paxton Lynch is. Now, when you're talking long distance speed, I think Colin Kaepernick has him there as well. But I look at Paxton Lynch as more of a Cam Newton type of athlete where you build up speed. He's not a guy that's going to be quick and explosive in short bursts. If you allow him to run for 10, 12 yards, he'll build up that speed, and all of a sudden now he's moving at top speed. He's not a 0 to 60 guy in 3 steps, but if you allow him to take 6 big steps, because he's got big, long strides, all of a sudden now he's moving at top speed, and you find it harder and harder to get your hands on Paxton Lynch. But this is a big kid, make no mistake about it, and he's athletic, and that's going to help him at the next level. You look at his arm, and that's the next pro. This guy has a rocket arm. If you ask me, he's got the biggest arm of any quarterback in this draft, especially when you're talking about the top 5 guys that are going to come off the board probably in the first 2 rounds. I think his arm is what sets him apart from a lot of these guys. And again, I don't want to make it seem like the other quarterbacks in this draft don't have strong arms, but this kid, he can zip it. And I call him a flick of the wrist guy. Look at the flick of the wrist. He's got one of those flick of the wrist type of arms where it's nothing for him to just flick the wrist and he goes 50, 60 yards in the air, no problem. I want you to take a look at the Bowling Green game from 2015. They do a flea flicker, and he's right around midfield, maybe even the 40-yard line. The running back tosses it back to him, and he throws a bomb to the end zone effortlessly, about 50, 60 yards in the air, and you can see it was easy gas, man. This guy, it was effortless. Just flicks his wrist, ball goes flying right into the receiver's hands, 50, 60 yards down the field for a touchdown. It's easy for Paxton Lynch. It really is. And I think his arm, coupled with his size and the athleticism, has a lot of scouts and GMs and coaches around the league drooling at the prospects of getting their hands on a quarterback with as many talents as Paxton Lynch. He can utilize touch, and that's something that I've harped on with some of these other quarterbacks, especially Jared Goff. Jared Goff doesn't exude a lot of touch and exemplify and show a lot of touch short. His deep touch, great, but Jared Goff isn't a guy that will show you the touch you need in the short to intermediate game a lot of times. Well, with Paxton Lynch, he uses touch at every level of the football field. You got the flare route on the outside, running back, running away from a linebacker. He'll put touch on that football, give him a chance to run underneath it and catch it in stride and get up the field. You got a guy running across the field on a deep crosser. He's gonna throw that football with touch and allow him to catch it and keep going and not have to catch a bullet pass that may take him to the ground or have to reach behind him. He's a guy that throws the football with touch, and that's something that I can appreciate because a lot of times quarterbacks with strong arms like Paxton Lynch possesses, they don't do a good job. And you need to look no further than Cam Newton for an example of this. Guys with strong cannon arms a lot of times don't have the touch necessary on the football short to give their receivers a chance to catch the football cleanly underneath. Accurate and takes care of the football. I think his numbers, they will fool you a bit, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but 28 touchdowns over 4 interceptions in 2015, the best touchdown to interception ratio in all of college football last year, threw the fewest amount of interceptions. This is a guy that is going to take care of the football. Now, I will explain to you why that is in a little bit, but look, when you throw 4 interceptions only on a season and you start every single game for your club, that speaks volumes as to how you're taking care of the football. Now, again, I will explain why that is, but again, you still have to go out there and make the proper decisions. You still have to make the proper throws. You still have to take care of the football, and that is something that he did do. And I was very pleased with his accuracy in and outside of the pocket. I thought he was very accurate with the football. A lot of short passes in the offense that he ran, and so it takes some accuracy to complete these passes over and over and over again. And I thought Paxton Lynch did exactly that. There were a couple of games where this guy was throwing it 77% clip, 80% completion percentage in a game. I mean, there were games where he would throw it 34 times and complete 29 passes. I mean, again, I'll explain why that was, but you still have to go out and do it. We've seen quarterbacks struggle with the short to intermediate game and not be able to complete a high percentage of passes. That's not Paxton Lynch. He's the guy that completes a very high percentage of his passes. He'll hang into the pocket and he'll throw on the move as well. So he's a guy that will stare down the gun barrel, take a shot, deliver the football in the pocket. And that's what you want to see from a 6'6", 230-pound quarterback. You don't want to see him shying away from contact in the pocket with a guy open and being afraid and shell-shocked. You want him to stare down the gun barrel, see the hit coming, know, hey, I'm about to get lit up, but I can deliver the football anyway. And he does that. And he also can get outside the pocket when he's under duress and make things happen, not only with his legs, but with his arms outside of the pocket. Very impressed and pleased with his accuracy on the move. He's not afraid to take a shot down the field. Again, when you have a big arm and you're on the move, you can defy gravity sometimes with the way that you throw the football. And he's one of those guys, even though he's off on one leg, he can still flick it 50 yards. Again, no problem. And so it always helps when you got a big arm and you're running and you're throwing across your body and you're doing things of that nature. He can do that without a problem and do it accurately outside of the pocket as well. Another pro for Paxton Lynch is that he's poised late in ball games, and that's one of the biggest characteristics that I look for in a quarterback is how do you handle pressure-packed situations late in ball games, because many a times we will define a quarterback by their ability to get it done in crunch time. Late in ball games, ice water in your veins. Can the coach give you the football, say, hey, you got one timeout, you got to go 87 yards for a touchdown, we're down 4, can't settle for a field goal. Can you take us down the field and get us a touchdown? Hey, we're down 2. We don't have any timeouts. It's 57 seconds left. You need to get about 60 to get us in the field goal range. Can you do it? Can you hand the quarterback the football? Look him in his eyes. See that he's confident and that he believes he's going to lead his group down the field. I look at Paxton Lynch, and I think this is a guy that isn't afraid of the big moment. I look at the Houston game, and keep in mind, in the American Conference, there were a bunch of good teams, Navy, Houston, Memphis, but nobody was better than Houston in 2015. They went on to a bowl game and won. They were really good, and Memphis had them on the ropes. As a matter of fact, Memphis went into Houston, were up very big in that football game before allowing Houston to run off 21 points late in that ball game to win. But Paxton Lynch did his part to give his team a chance. Late in that ball game, they get the football down by about 2 points, 1 or 2 points, and he takes his team right down the field. I mean, made some throws, used his legs, did what he had to do, put them in a position late in that game to attempt a game-winning field goal that they ultimately missed. But he did his part to put his team in a position to win that football game, and they weren't able to do so. But he's not fazed by the big moment. I like that about Paxton Lynch. I think he's a guy that is very poised, and I think that's something that's going to benefit him throughout this process as well. Improved deep ball is the next pro for Paxton Lynch. This is a guy that starting out his collegiate career wasn't that great at the deep ball. It was something, and again, when you have a big arm, sometimes you struggle to gauge how much to put on it, how much to take off. I thought that he made a bunch of adjustments to his game throwing the deep ball, and you saw a finished product in 2015. He threw some beautiful deep balls in 2015, hitting guys. I talked about the flea flicker already. There were some other plays where he just let it go 50, 60 yards down the field, dropped it right in the bucket, breastfed some of his receivers, and were able to connect on some deep balls. So I think that's something that he worked tirelessly on, got better as the years progressed, and now I think you see a finished product with a guy that can drive the football down the field in long ball situations. What good is it to have a big, strong arm if you can't use it and connect with some deep balls down the field? And I think Paxton Lynch got better at that over the years, and that's something I think he can hang his hat on as we move along in this process. And finally, his final pro is the one that I think separates him from just about every quarterback in this draft class, and that's high upside. To me, that's the one thing that's going to get this guy drafted in the top 15 of this draft, I think, is the fact that you look at him and he's a 6'6", 230-pound, athletic, huge armed quarterback. When you look at all of those factors mixed into one, I don't think there's another quarterback in this draft class that you can look at and say, hey, there's a lot of room for growth, and this guy has all the measurables, all the intangibles you're looking for. We just need to groom this kid because he's still got a lot to learn. For as good as a football player he was in 2015, Paxton Lynch made a position change in high school from receiver to quarterback, which is part of the reason why he went under-recruited as a high school senior. And so because he made the late switch to quarterback, there's still a lot that he has to learn about the position, and there's some things that they didn't ask him to do at Memphis that you're going to have to ask him to do at the next level for him to be successful. So there's a lot of room for growth, but you see everything that you need in order to have the perfect quarterback right here in front of you. The size, the arm strength, the athleticism, it's all here. The mindset, he's a very smart kid on the football field and from all accounts off the football field as well. So I think everything is here, and the upside is what this guy is going to lay claim to, and I think that's what's going to get him not only drafted, but could see him rise up some draft boards. He's going to throw at the combine, as just about every one of these quarterbacks is going to do, which is very good because, again, you want to showcase your skills as many times as possible leading up to the draft. If you're confident in your abilities, I don't see why you would not participate every single opportunity that you get. And so you're going to get to see this ball come out of this kid's hands, and it is a very impressive thing to see because he has a rifle. And I think that, coupled with his size, his weight, and his athleticism, is going to get this kid drafted in the top 15 of the upcoming draft. You go to his cons. Let's start with his decision making, and really I want to lump all three of his cons together because they all go hand in hand, I believe. So decision making, lots of easy reads and quick hitters, and the last con is limited snaps under center. And let's kind of break all of them down individually, but kind of all tie them in at the end. You look at his decision making. I talked about 28 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You say, what are you talking about? You just told me the kid threw 4 interceptions in all of 2015. How is his decision making something that is questionable? And good question you asked. And I look at him, and he could have thrown more than 4 interceptions, first and foremost. And guys didn't come up with the football. And again, when you got a strong arm like he does, defenders play defense for a reason. They could have played offense, but because they can't catch, that's why they're turned into defensive backs a lot of times. And so guys drop some opportunities to make Paxton Lynch pay for some bad decisions and some bad throws. But aside from that, there are times where I look at Paxton Lynch and I say, look, you're a big athlete, man. Run, go. There's nothing here. You've been standing in the pocket way too long. Get out of there and go much faster than slow. And he'll stand there and he'll take a sack. Or he'll stand there and then he'll try to abort the play late, have to throw it away, when he could have run for 7 yards already. He could have run for 5 yards. He's an unwilling runner sometimes, and it's very frustrating because you're like, dude, you are an athlete. Just go. Figure it out later. Just go right now. Don't worry about your third read getting open. Don't worry about that post route that's still developing. Just go, man. Go. And you sit there and you say, no, don't stand there. You just took a sack. Why? Now it's 3rd and 13 instead of 3rd and 6. Why'd you do that? Okay. Sometimes he'll predetermine where he's going with the football. In a couple of the early games that I watched, and I watched just about every single tape I could find on this kid. So you're talking 10, 11 games. And the first couple of games of the season, you could tell he predetermined. Okay, coach gave me a play action shot down the field. Whether it's there or not, I'm throwing this play action fade. Okay, so it's double coverage. It's a deep post. The corner's underneath, the safety's on the top, and he's still throwing the deep post 45 yards down the field into double coverage. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. But that's not a smart throw. If it's not there, you either check it down, you get rid of the football, or you run. But you don't force it into double coverage. That's not the smart move. And that's some of the things that you saw from Paxton Lynch from time to time on tape. So that's what I mean by decision making. He doesn't decide to run until it's too late sometimes, or he doesn't run at all when he should, when nothing's there, or he doesn't see what he likes. Go! Take off and run. And you can't throw into coverage. You can't do that. You'll make mistakes that way, and he could have made more mistakes. Again, if guys could corral the football, those interception totals would have been more than what they were. Lots of easy reads and quick hitters. In the offense that he played in at Memphis, it really didn't do a lot to display the full talent that is Paxton Lynch. They didn't have a vertical passing game. They had a horizontal passing game at Memphis, which frustrated me to no end because I'm watching the tape and I'm seeing a bevy of short hitches and wide receiver screens and slants and everything you could imagine. Quick hitters. Literally, he'll get the football, turn around, and throw it out to the receiver, and he'll pick up 6 yards, 8 yards on the play. Or he'll turn around, he'll pick it one way, throw it the other way on a tunnel screen. Everything seemed to be short. 5-yard comebacks, speed out. Everything was short to intermediate with this guy. Wasn't a lot of big-time NFL drive it down the field throws. Not a lot of 18 or 20-yard dig routes down the field. Not a lot of deep posts that he's completing. Not a lot of bench routes to the corner of the field. Not a lot of the NFL throws that you want to see guys making on tape so that you know that he possesses the ability to do that. Now, you can look at his arm and tell that he can make every single throw on a football field, but you want to see him consistently turn down that throw, look over here, see the corner route winning, and get him the football in a tight window. You want to see that receiver running up the sideline before the safety can get over there and right in that honey hole underneath that corner, squeeze it into cover 2, down the sideline or up the seam route. You see a tight end breaking free on a tight end pop play, right up the seam. You see him, safety's trying to come down there. It's too late. He's got his thing in there. You want to see that. You didn't see it from him because in that Memphis offense, it wasn't there. It was a horizontal passing game, not a lot of vertical plays, and that was very frustrating. And because of that, you saw a lot of easy completions, a lot of quick hitters, not a lot of reading the field, not a lot of deciphering defenses and coverages. It was a lot of, hey, okay, one step, turn, pivot, throw the football. One step, turn, pivot, throw the football. There's a lot of easy, quick hitters, and that's why the completion percentage was so high. That's why the interception numbers were so low. And so there's not a lot there that you can actually look at and say, all right, I know he can make this throw. I know he can make this throw because I saw him do it 15 times on tape throughout the course of his senior season or junior season. You didn't see that from Paxton Lynch. And so it's very frustrating, but again, you can look at him and tell he can make all the throws. You just need to see it, and you didn't get a chance to see it at Memphis because their offense didn't call for that. Limited snaps under center. Another one of these spread quarterbacks. And look, I'm going to continuously say that because in this day and age in college football, that's what most programs run. They run the spread. You're going to see guys in the shotgun, in the pistol. You're not going to see a lot of under the center. He had a couple of snaps, but it wasn't many. Most of his snaps came from the shotgun pistol formation, and there were a lot of quick hitters, a lot of motion, a lot of movement, a lot of deception. And so, again, a lot of easy reads for Paxton Lynch when it's all said and done. He's going to have to show in his workouts that he can drive the football. And again, you can drive it against air. You really want to see him do it in an environment where there's defenders on the field and he's got to make some reads. He's got to process some things. You didn't see it enough on tape. And that's the one thing that I think is going to knock him back a bit for some coaches and some scouts that have some apprehension about taking a guy that they didn't see it enough from in the college game. And I think that's going to lead to Jared Goff and Carson Wentz leapfrogging him in this draft. Is it because of measurables? Is it because of the physical part of the game? Because I think Paxton Lynch surpasses anyone in this draft in that department. But I think from a production standpoint and what he was asked to do offensively as a quarterback in their scheme at Memphis, I think that's going to hurt him come draft time. And that's the reason why I think he'll be the third and potentially the final quarterback taken in the 2016 NFL draft in the first round. But that's Paxton Lynch in a nutshell. This is a guy highly talented, a number of things that I feel like is going to give him a chance to be a really good pro prospect, but going to have to perform at a high level throughout the process to show some of these NFL scouts, coaches, and general managers that he has what it takes to get it done at the next level. I am Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me on this installment of the 2016 NFL Draft Prospects 101 series. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down everything. And everything in the National Football League. See you next time when we'll be talking about another quarterback in the 2016 NFL Draft Prospects 101 series. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie Tee, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In The Lab Room. That's In The Lab Room on Facebook and at In The Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.